Oh, hey there. I didn't see you. Sorry to creep in all close like this, get all up in your business, all up in your bubble and everything. But just wanted to have a quick chat. Nothing too serious. Just me and you. We don't need everybody else involved in this. It's just me and you. The chat is just gonna be to talk about life. How things are going. How are things with you? Are you still at that job that you hate? You still living in that one place with your moms? How's your mama doing? How's your children doing? I just wanted to stop by and have a little chat, see how you're feeling, see what you're doing, see what you're up to. Got anything new going on? No? Okay, well, maybe I do. This is going to be tough because the whole time I'm doing this, Jackie's going to be laughing behind the camera. So just so you guys know, like when I get to be off the cuff like this and say whatever I want, it's usually tough for Jackie because she laughs. But you'll just have to deal with that. So to get down to the business, if you would, the brass tacks, the balls of the situation. Wait, what? No. To get down to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop, this is how we're going to go. This is how it's going to go down. I've read some things, heard some things, I've seen some things. To be honest, it's not all that bad. Some of the comments are, pretty rough, but I expected that. I don't want to make too much light of it. I don't want to joke about it too much because I know that a lot of you guys are fans of the show from day one, almost 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And a lot of you guys have invested a lot of your time and energy, and you've invested a lot of your emotions and everything else into this show. So just to kind of give you a little retrospect on what's going on here or whatever, it's just kind of shine a little light on my situation. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm not trying to ignore you guys. I don't want to ignore anybody. I don't want to brush you guys off and all the questions that you're asked because I see them, I see them. I really do. I guess so. The show came out Monday night or whatever, and there's a lot of comments now. I mean, it was getting, it was calming down a little bit, but I kind of knew this day was coming. So I'm just gonna run through these real quick because, man, honestly, this isn't even something that I deal with or want to talk about on an everyday basis. So I feel like if we sit down, just me and you, in private, have this little chat, get it off our shoulders and move on. I haven't got a chance to watch the show. I've seen some little clips of it here and there online and people commenting on it. I've heard a lot of people tell me what's going on or whatever. And from what I can gather, the gist of it is that supposedly I'm not there. I'm not going to do this anymore. Talking about the America's List season 2. But the thing is, though, they didn't really say I didn't make it. A lot of you guys have drawn your own conclusions from that. But from what I can tell, and from everything that I've been told, they never really actually said that Chief didn't make it. They may have alluded to that, but that's kind of on the end viewer, So if that's what you took away from it, then that's what you took away from it, and I understand. But just so you know, I went down there to race the last episode of the 405 season, the OG show. We were in Chicago. We were racing in a hat race there. Then afterwards, they told us that we had to stay an extra day and do the final shootout to see who goes to America's List. I was coming into that with a car that was running really good. Everything was cool. It was a little wore out, but most of my stuff is. By the end of that weekend, though, I didn't have any more passes left. My little engine had its tongue sticking out for, that entire weekend, and it was done with it. So with the motor being wore out and not getting a chance to go home and fix it like we thought we were going to have, we thought we were going to go up there for a hat race and then we were going to come home and have a chance to fix it for the next race, and that didn't happen. So we went into that last shootout night with a car that was spitting oil out of it every pass and it was just getting worse and worse. It was going it was spitting out 100 foot and the car would make a move. And it was at 40 foot, the car was 30 foot, and then it was spitting the oil out, by the time I got done with the burnout. Having to deal with all that made that last list race or that last shootout race tough for us, and I took some losses I probably shouldn't have took. That's my fault. Just because we had to stay an extra day doesn't mean I shouldn't be ready for that. Doesn't mean I shouldn't be ready for anything. After we left there, of course, I had all the parts and stuff here at the shop to fix it. Butler had already been working on machine work on freshening up a spare short block for me, so we were in good shape. That was in May of 2021, middle of May 2021, and then they left for MPK. They got back from MPK late, and America's List started in the first week of January, first or second week. It was in January of 2022. So there was 7, 8 months there, where I had plenty of time to get my car right and tested. And, we figured a few things out. We were onto something. We had a really fast race car. We were really excited about going into America's List, especially once we found out it was on asphalt. Not having the most horsepower out of the bunch, being on asphalt is good for me, could potentially be good for me. You give me a couple licks on a road, I usually do pretty good. So we went down there a few days early. We were testing. We were ready. I felt like I was going to have one of, if not the fastest car there on that road. We were testing on that road or roads that are just like it right around the corner, so I felt like we had a good handle on it. We didn't have one aborted pass. Car went down every time. We were rocking and rolling. We were pumped, really excited. And we felt like, man, this is going to work out great, Everybody thinks that the one combo is, unbeatable or whatever, and it's all about horsepower or whatever. And this is going to show them that street racing is still street racing. Sometimes you still got to race the road. I mean, at least until the third or fourth race night when it was packed full of rubber and it's like a racetrack again or whatever. But coming from home 7, 8 months ago, we were racing at Okema, which is like the best road in the whole world. Literally our road that we've all made thousands of passes on. Coming from there, I was excited because this is going to be something where not everybody's familiar with it. You can't throw your fastest tune-up in it. You don't have your number one pass to throw down through there. Like, we're drag racing again. Then things changed, and a lot of things have been changing, but they changed quite a bit that day. The first drivers meeting of season 2, America's List, we were, I don't know the word, unpleasantly surprised? I don't know. We went down there with an idea, with ways to make it better. We listened to all you guys' comments. We read them all. We wrote them down. The ones that were the most repetitive or the ones that were redundant, we wrote them down. We're like, okay, a lot of people feel weird about the Chases race. A lot of people feel weird about the cross the center line rule. A lot of people feel weird about this rule or that rule. And so, we talked about it. We wrote it down. And our plan was to go into the drivers' meeting and, talk with everybody there and see what they thought. You know what I mean? And see what the majority is here, because it's not like these cars are a mile apart like they used to be. A lot of these cars are on the same level now. A lot of these cars, the people that we were worried about couldn't compete before, well, now they have the same equipment as everybody else. I kind of felt like maybe some of the rules and stuff needed to be adjusted, especially listening to the fans. Hearing the fans gripe about people racing each other over and over, chases a race and never getting a clean race off and stuff, like, and everybody hiding and all that. So, we had some notes and we wanted to discuss it with the racers and see what everybody thought and come up with something that works for everybody. But, things change. The world isn't always what you think it's going to be tomorrow. That whole idea, that whole thought process, all the work and energy we put into trying to come up with whatever's the best for everybody, including the fans, that was just a big balloon that got popped as soon as we got there, they let us know right away that that's not how this is going down. Without getting into too much detail or, there's a lot of things that have changed that changed the way I think about Street Outlaws. This is supposed to be the thing that I love to do almost more than anything in the world. This is street racing. This is supposed to be what I'm the most passionate about. What I've built my whole life around is street racing. And so a lot of people are saying that, that I was broke, or a lot of people saying I didn't make it in. I hear that one a lot. A lot of people saying I didn't want to race I didn't make it in. And so when I got there, supposedly, everybody's saying that they told me I might have to race my way in. I got mad, left, or whatever. That's not the case at all. I went down there, I was in, 100%. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There were things that were put in place on the 405 show during the filming of the 405 show that said, if someone has a catastrophic failure, or crashes a car, or tears something up, because we were racing almost every night to get that season done so that they could go do MPK, there were things put in place for guys that, that were competitive, that did well at America's List last season, that because it's a different show, so like you can't take the guys who did good on that show and then not bring them back because they didn't do good on another show. That's touchy. So there were things that were put in place that was, basically like, and if you watch the show and stuff, I'm sure you can pick it out, but there were things that were like, if you were in the top 5, you get a weighted advantage going into, the 405 shootout deal. So like, if you were in the top 5 on America's List, you didn't do so good in the 405 show, race to America's List or whatever, you had something there that you could use to help even the tally marks or whatever. And if you were in the top 3, you had more, you know what I mean? So, and there was 3 of us in the top 10, or 3 or 4 of us in the top 10s. But there was only 1 of us in the top 3. That was me, and I was number 2 on America's List Season 2. I raced number 1 over and over again, and I had raced everyone below me multiple times, and I beat all those guys too. So and it wasn't like I was just biding my time waiting on the fast guys to get up there. All the fast guys were up there, and I was still there. So that makes me one of the fast guys. Going into America's List, having engine trouble the last night of the 405 show, it was all figured out. We were going to film a scene about it to tidy it up, but I was going. I wouldn't have went down there with a car preparing to race on, the first list race night or the shakeup or whatever they were going to do. I wouldn't have went down there with all that and tested and done all that stuff if I wasn't in, or if I was racing my way in, I would have been ready to race my way in that night. But that's not the case. And I think everybody knows me. Anybody that's watched me or seen me do anything or been around me for any amount of time knows that if they told me that I'd have to race my way in, I'm in. I would cherish that moment. Most of the time, I'm trying to race my way in, because that just means I get more licks at the road before I have to race the fast guys. You know what I mean? So, like, I would have been on that, man. For those of you that actually think about that. If you actually feel like if they told me I had to race my way in, that I wouldn't be excited to race my way in, or that I wouldn't do it, or that I get mad and leave, that's insanity, man. Come on. Everybody knows I don't run from races. I don't run from challenges. You know what I mean? If they're going to let me make a hit on the road, I'm going to make a hit on the road. Just to kind of catch up here. So the comments and the rumors that I didn't make it in, I think we've settled that. I mean, I was full blown. There was no doubt about it. I was in. The comments about that they told me I had to race my way in, I got mad and left, or I wouldn't race my way in. I mean, everybody knows better than that. That's not me at all. It doesn't matter what I'm thinking or feeling. It doesn't matter how my car's running. If somebody tells me I'm racing my way in, I'm racing my way in, and I'll be excited to do it. In the YouTube, the stuff that we released of us that week, testing and stuff and getting ready, we would have said we have to race our way in, the same way everybody else was doing. So there's no chance of that. The other comments that I see that come up more frequently than others would be like, Chief's just not competitive anymore, and he doesn't want to go change to the Pro Charger Hemi combo or whatever. So instead of competing in that deal, or instead of changing his combo, he's just going to quit and go do something else, blah, 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 get mad and throw a tantrum or whatever. And come on, man. I've been doing this so long with the same shit. Every year, it's a different combo that everybody says I should be scared of. Like at first, it was the big block Chevrolet Pro Charger combo. It was big block twin turbo. It was small block 4.5-inch bore space, or 10.5 deck small block twin turbo. Every year of coming up this deal, there was combinations that were the scariest thing ever, that were going to basically put everything else out of business. You know what I mean? And no one would be able to compete. The 900-inch deal. I mean, I remember when the 5-inch bore space nitrous deals, the turbo small block wasn't going to have a chance with those deals. And just like everything else, they have some success here and there, but every combo they can still do what they're good at. Then it was the 481X, and it was 481X twin turbo, it was 481X Pro Charger, blower. It's every year it's something different. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 different things a year where this combo is going to rule everything. We have to do something about it. Everybody's got to change to this combo. I'm not that guy. I don't do that. I'm not the guy who goes out and changes his combo just because that's what the fast guys are supposedly running nowadays. I deal with my bullshit. I work on my shit. If my shit's not fast enough, then I work on it. I spend money on it. Who outrun me? You know what I mean? Like, it's funny because every year when I'm out running those guys, no one's ever said, oh, the Pro Charger combo is done. When I beat those guys in MPK with Hemis and Pro Chargers, or on the street with 481Xs and twin turbos and all this other stuff, nobody ever went to those guys and said, oh man, that combo, the Hemi Pro Charger is screwed. Chief just smacked you around over and over again, and he ended number 1 again, so you guys need to go Pontiac twin turbo. Nobody ever does that to them. Now they just come to me and say that I'm not competitive anymore because somebody's fast or whatever. But if you look back, I've won more than I've lost for a long time. And I've never been completely whipped by any combo. I lose 1, I win 1, I win 2, I lose 1, I win 3, I lose 1. That's the way it goes. That's racing. Different scenarios, you know what I mean? Different surfaces, different time under pressure. It's just what it is. The fact that anybody thinks that I don't think I'm competitive anymore, I'm not going to race anymore if I'm not competitive. Not just street outlaws, not just street racing, not just track, whatever it is. If I feel like I'm not competitive, I'll go do something else. I'll buy a set of golf clubs or whatever. I'll start a Boy Scout troop, I'll learn to whittle. But that's not the case. I went down there with my shit loaded for bear because I knew that I was going to avenge anything that anybody thought in the 405 show was off. I was going to avenge that because, I did have trouble. I don't make excuses. So you're not going to hear me whine and complain about it all the time. But I was going into America's List with all fresh shit, banging on all cylinders, and boy, the car was working. We were ready, and we were going to laugh when it's all over because we did it again, but we didn't get that opportunity. At the end of the day, there are lots of issues that have changed the way I feel about Street Outlaws, and I have fought tooth and nail since the beginning for real street spots, real street rules, real street racers. That's what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to keep this show and all the shows as street as possible. Yes, they got to film it. Yes, we got to give them stuff. Yes, it's a compromise. But there's always been a compromise. It's been, I'll do this and I'll deal with this if you guys let us do this. You know what I mean? And we've dealt with it. We've handled it over the years. There've been times when I'm not so happy about what I'm doing, but there's been times when they're not so happy about what they're doing. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's all a compromise to keep it as street as possible, so that we all don't hate ourselves, when we go to work or when we watch it on TV. The moment where you don't want to see yourself, this is your life's work in front of you. You know what I mean? And the moment you don't want to watch that because you hate the way you feel about it or hate the way you look about it, then things start to really change. And then you start asking yourself, why am I even doing it? The race master is there to uphold the rules, make sense of all the chaos, and bring it back to a raceable tone. So when people are arguing, the race master steps in and says, hey, you got to race this guy first before you race him, or the rules are you jumped, or the rules are you crossed, or the rules are if you don't make it back here by tomorrow, then you lose your spot, or you lose 2 spots, 5 spots, whatever the rules are. Those are the rules. That's the race master's job. But that premise and that idea came from, well, the race master makes those rules with the best intent of the group of the race. Your job is to uphold the rules and the decisions that you made until this point for the race. But what if you didn't make the rules? Doesn't seem like it could be a big problem. You're still there to defend the rules, you're still there to uphold the rules, and you're still there to make sure that everything goes down smoothly. But what if you also don't agree with the rules? Instead of you just didn't make the rules, now what if you don't agree with those rules? What if you don't agree with those decisions? What if you don't agree with the racers that are here? What if you don't agree with the race your way in guys being all from one place or whatever, and you didn't get to bring the 5 from your hometown? What if you strongly don't agree with stuff like that? What if your passion is overriding your title? Then what happens? It's just like if you're the manager at your job and your boss comes in and says, hey, I need you to go fire Carl. Why? Doesn't matter. Just go fire Carl. Well, Carl's a good guy who comes in early and stays late, gets everything done. You got to go make that decision. Well, at some point, it doesn't matter if you make the decision or not. They'll find someone else to fire Carl. You know what I mean? That's life. But you have to make a decision whether you're okay with being that guy or not. And we all have to make those decisions in life. And at some point, I have to make the decision that I can't stand up there and defend rules and decisions that I didn't make, that I don't agree with, and that I don't think are the best for the show, for us, for everyone involved. And, I just don't know how to make the decision where I stand up there and try and sell it to a bunch of guys that I respect, So, because at the end, they're going to put it on TV of us arguing about those rules, So if me and Scott Taylor, somebody are arguing about rules, they're going to put that on television because that's television. That's what television is. That's what drama is. It's guys arguing over rules in a driver's meeting, right? But so they benefit from that. So the people that made those rules and those decisions are now going to exploit the arguing over those rules and those decisions by 2 racers who neither one of them agree with them. At some point, it just makes it to where you hate yourself. You hate going to work. You hate what you do. You hate who you are. You you just hate it. I'm not here to badmouth the production company or the TV show or the network or any of the other racers on the show. That's not, you know what I mean? I wish them all the success in the world with whatever they do. I hope it's, hope it's the best thing that anybody's ever seen and done. And I hope they make all the money in the world, whatever it is that they want out of it. But the direction that it seems to be headed, it's just not one that I feel I can come back from. I want to keep that part of me. I'm a street racer. I street race. I've been a street racer, and everybody's always told me, like, don't give up on what made you who you are now, or don't, you being a dumb street racer is what got you here, But now it seems like that's not going to cut it no more. The bottom line is I can't stand up there and defend rules and decisions that I had no part of and don't agree with, especially to a group of guys that takes it as seriously as we do. That's the other flip side of the coin is, while I know that the rules and decisions that I'm defending may not be my own and I may not agree with them, it's for a bigger cause, which is the television show and making sure we have a good show and making sure that people watch the show and they like it, and making sure that I do my job as a race master. But because if I just give up and say, oh man, you guys, if it sucks, it's not me, it's them, you know what I mean? If I say that, then what's the point in being there? At that point, the point of being the race master that I took pride in was handling my shit, you know what I mean? But I just don't think I can stand up there and defend that anymore, because those guys take it seriously. Those guys are on the other side of that driver's meeting, and while they may know in their heart that this didn't come from me or that didn't come from me or whatever, everything's been twisted up so much that some of these guys part of them believe that, this is my problem, this is my issue, this is my decision, this is my rules, whatever. So, and it's affected the way we do everything, At the end of the day, some point in your life, either you already have or you may one day realize that money, fame, clout, whatever it is, isn't worth that time that you lose doing it, So defending things you don't believe in or protecting things that you didn't put in place, to people that you love and respect, at some point in time, you may realize that you don't want to lose that part of yourself or whatever. You can't keep going down that road. You can't do that again. At some point in time, the money's not worth it. The clout isn't worth it. The fame isn't worth it. And trust me, I've read all the comments where everybody says, I can't believe that he would walk away from something that he started, or walk away from all that money, or poor Chief, he gets to make money on a TV show. But that's not me saying those things. That's not me out there telling you guys you should feel sorry for me or you should worry about me. Like, I moved on with doing different things. I've been doing different things. As far as America's List, I'm not on it. And I'm okay with that. As far as what's coming up next, we bought the vet for the in-game show or whatever, the new show they're filming, the build show, whatever. We were excited about getting to showcase some of our skills here in the shop and what we can do, and we do it all in-house, and we were excited about that. But at the same time, if it's just another carbon copy of that, if it's just another one of those days where, one of those jobs where you're doing the same thing with a different title over the door, I don't want to do that either. So I'm not doing it. I don't know what that show's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be like. It may be awesome, but I don't want to find out in front of the camera. So take it for what it's worth. I'm not on that show either. So, and I'm not even mad that I've got this Corvette. I'm still happy I got the Corvette because I'm still going to get to do great things with it. It's still going to be exactly what I want it to be. I just don't have to do that with it. I'm good with that. As far as the 405 show, the OG show, the OG original Street Outlaws show, I don't know. I really don't. We haven't got that far. You know, I don't I don't ever want I don't ever want there to be a Street Outlaws, OG Street Outlaws show, the 405 show. I don't ever want there to be a Street Outlaws show that I started or that I was a part of or that I helped bring to light or that, whatever you want to call it. I don't ever want that to exist without me on it, you know. But if it's just named that and it doesn't exist anymore, well then roll on with it, you know. Do your best with it, whatever it is. Like, I'll support you. I ain't no hater, you know what I mean? The directions that things are going, the changes that are being made and the way that things are being done now, you know, it just doesn't even resemble something that I helped build, you know. There's no way that I would have ever agreed to 10 years of this, you know, where you show up when and where they tell you and you race whoever they tell you to and you defend whatever rules they tell you to against whoever they tell you to, and they don't have to deal with it. You do, you know. I wouldn't have agreed to that. So, you know. And if I'm not going to be a race master, you know, what am I going to do? Beg them to, hey, I'm going to step down as race master. I'm just going to be another racer. I just want to be a regular racer in the driver's meeting and, you know, and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's disrespectful as shit to everybody there. You know what I mean? If I turn around and say, I don't want to be race master no more because, you know, I didn't make any of those decisions or I didn't make those rules or I didn't pick these racers or this spot. So I'm just going to be another racer in there so that I can make my money. That's not me. Ain't no amount of money worth that. What am I going to do? Go stand over there next to those guys and be like, hey, man, you know, and then somebody else has to go do it. Somebody else has to deal with it. And all I did was dodge a bullet? No, that's not me either. If people are shooting at me, I might as well go. But if that wasn't the case, if I was the race master and I did get to help make those decisions and I did believe in what we were doing, then even if they told me I didn't make it, or even if they said my car was too slow, or even if they said the group as a whole doesn't want you to race at America's List because we feel like we can do better without your car there, I would still be honored to go down there and be the race master or to call the races or to flag the races or whatever it is, all the duties of the race master. I'd be honored to go do that stuff. So any of you guys that think that that's why I'm not there or whatever, I got mad and loaded my stuff up and left. That's not the case at all. You know, what does all this mean? You know what I mean? So we're sitting here super close to each other talking, and you're inside that little camera lens somewhere, and I can't see you, but what does all this mean? Well, all this means is that, literally, all this means is that I'm not going to be street racing or anything on America's List or in-game. That's all it means. Right now, that's literally all this means. I'm not going to quit street racing or drag racing in general at a competitive level. I'm not going to quit, you know, having fun and with my cars and my kids and my chick and traveling around the country racing or whatever. Like, not going to stop doing any of that. I'm just not going to do it on America's List right now, or in game for that matter. That's really all it means. And I don't want this to be sad. I don't want this to seem like it's some big terrible thing, because it's not. It's one of the greatest things that could ever happen to me and to anyone, really. Like, this is America. This is, you know, we get to decide. You know, we get to choose our own adventure here. You know, so if you think that, like, those of you that I've seen the comments where you say, oh, well, this is it, you know, he's gone, he's done, we're never going to see him again, he's going to disappear into a hole, or, you know, we're not going to get to see the crow anymore, or whatever. But things couldn't be further the opposite of that. I mean, you know, this is going to give us a chance to do what we love to do and to have fun doing what we love to do, and for you to see it and have more access to it than ever before, you know. With the way things are right now in the world, this is the furthest thing from the end of anything. You know what I mean? So don't feel like this is an end, or that I quit and I'm leaving. It's not ever going to be the same or whatever. They're still going to keep doing it. It's still going to be awesome. I hope you still watch it. And I'm going to still keep doing what I do. It's just going to be more of what I do. And it'll be the best street racing that you've seen me do in years. Let's go see what these things will do. Let's see what that badass GTO will do in Stockholm. Let's see what it'll do at the big tire cash days races. Let's see what it'll do with some of them back of the track races. Let's see what it'll do with small tires on it maybe. Let's see what it'll do. Let's see what Caddy Jack will do. Let's see what the Vet will do. The Vet can race small tire, big tire, 29.5. Like, we literally have 3 perfect built street race, no prep cars right here. We can show up to any race and unload and be competitive. So, you want to see how I would do against Beater Bomb? Let's go see. You want to see how I'm going to do against, the Studebaker in Kansas? Let's go see. You pick them, I'm going to go race them. That's what this is about. And if you'll notice in the comments section, I'm in there. The way I see it, if you guys are going to spend enough time and energy of your own to comment about a video that we released, if I'm serious about what I'm doing, then by God, I should be serious about that. I should be serious about reading your input, because if you're going to sit there and watch the whole thing, then I need your input. I need you to tell me what you like, what you didn't like. I need you to tell me where I need to go race. Where do I need to unload this motherfucker? Who is it? Who do I got to race? That's, I want to know who's the biggest, baddest dudes out there so we can go race them. And if we lose, then we'll go back to the drawing board, we'll make it faster, and we'll come back. But what if we don't? What if we don't? What if the big TV street racer that everybody said was fake and can only race when the cops are holding his hand and the spots shut down and cherry picking racers and they don't let this guy go there? What happens when he goes and races them all under their own rules in their own fucking spots? What happens then? What if he wins? I don't know, but you can bet your ass I'm going to be hyped about it. Let's find out. If that's something that interests you, it's damn sure something that interests me, so let's find out. Who am I racing? Where am I racing? Let's go. Who told you could use drills and power tools and stuff?
Half of this shop is mine.
That drill ain't yours. What are you doing anyway? Hold on. What are you doing?
I'm doing work. What are you doing?
What kind of work?
What are you doing?
There's nothing should be mounted there.
No?
No, there's no reason to mount anything there. What are you mounting there?
What?
With a rivet. These rivets here are too short anyway, look.
I'm not using those.
They're on your tool bench.
I use my pocket.
Did you just rivet something in the frame?
No. I would never.
Did you just throw something at me?
No.
Are you not going to stop and talk to me about what you're doing?
How's your day?
My day was going great until I got here and you're drilling holes in your frame and oh my God. Did you just put another rivet through whatever? What the heck are you doing? What is it?
So you can wire my stuff.
Oh, that little terminal strip there? I mean...
Do you like it?
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Probably not the way I would have done it, but it's not bad.
Whatever. Your way would have taken us 8 hours and...
8 hours?
$28 in parts and shit.
Ain't my car. Can't see it from my house.
Over there? I haven't got an extra.
What is your little... Let me see that. Where'd you get that rivet? Let me see that.
From your collection.
Let me see it. Wow. What do you need what do you need a fucking 1-inch rivet for?
These aren't long enough.
Huh?
These weren't long enough.
How do you figure? There's a big difference though. There's like 3 in between there. What were you mounting that you needed? So confused. Oh, is it like this where the mount deal is short? So if you put that rivet in there?
Yeah, it didn't even come out the back really.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Okay. Okay. Did you deburr the hole when you got done drilling it?
No.
Did you check to see if it's square?
No. I blew the dust off of it with my mouth. Do you want to show them my new...
oh, God.
Show them my new spark plug wires that we made. Nice.
Fancy.
All the letters go the same way.
Fancy. Oh, it's got heat shrink on it. Oh,
yeah.
DR25. Oh, what do you got going on there? Nice.
We made a video, but you know,
oh, you gonna blame that? You gonna blame that on me?
My boyfriend never plugged his mic in. So
you gonna blame that on me?
it is your fault.
How is it my fault?
Because you didn't plug your mic in.
I said, hey, this little thing on the screen isn't moving when I talk. Is that okay? And you said, yeah.
Well, you didn't say, hey, I also didn't plug my mic in.
Well, I didn't know I didn't plug my mic in. You're supposed to test that stuff. You're the producer.
Boom, boom.
So there was this blind man, right? He was walking down the street, right? Whoa, what the heck? Did you try to deadlift your car? Stop! What is wrong with you?
I could maybe do it if it wasn't so fucking sharp on the edge.
Just stop. Just stop! Okay, well, your valve cover gaskets came in. You can seal those to the heads. And then,
And then we can start this puppy.
I could tie up those plug wires. And hopefully, I don't know, hopefully the right hose shows up soon. What was that? What was that?
It's right there. It's a bolt?
What the fuck? Hang on. Don't go anywhere with that. Let me see. I need to see that. That's a fucking head stud.
It hit the top of the valve cover.
What'd you do, Richard?
How did you do that?
Are you playing a joke on me? Are you fucking with? Oh my god.
How does that happen?
That doesn't happen.
It's right there.
Is that where it was? I know if it's like that.
Yeah, because this part
So
that doesn't
it's-
have paint goes
So
up
it's
on the
right
top.
in line with that.
But why?
What the fuck?
It hasn't even started.
I'm so confused. So the head stud broke. I've had this valve cover off 20 times. That head stud was not broke. So the head stud broke, and when it broke, it went, and it hit. Look, you can see it. Like,
I just don't understand how it hit something, how anything that hard happened to make it hit where it left that on the valve cover. It hasn't even moved.
It scraped that on the way by. Look, none of these. See what I'm saying? No color, no touching, no nothing. Look at that. So it had to have went by there, and then yeah, look. So it scraped on there, scrape, and then bam. What the fuck?
I don't understand though. Like, just sitting here, you didn't hear anything when you like rolled the motor over by hand?
No, when I was doing the cam sync.
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear anything. And I didn't even turn it over a full rotation. I basically went forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards. Like, but it wouldn't have anything to do with this.
I understand.
This doesn't go anywhere into the cylinder. Or it shouldn't. Oh, I'm so confused. I need to look down that hole. Is it possible? No, that's not. No.
It's just weird because it's like, it doesn't have the coating on it in that spot. You see? Like, the whole deal's,
They're all gonna look like that though. You talking about this right here?
yeah.
Yeah, they're all gonna look like that. That's just.
I wonder if something nicked it.
No, what do you mean something? There's nothing in there that could touch this. I mean,
don't
it's not, that
understand.
doesn't, it shouldn't go into a fuck, I mean, obviously it's not supposed to go into a cylinder. If it's fire slotted or something between there, sure, it could have, but it doesn't look torched, does it? No, it doesn't look torched. You can almost see the threads. Like that's where the threads start, I bet. You know what I mean? Whatever it is though, whoa, 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 whoa.
I just don't
That's
understand.
old. This I mean, there's no telling when this happened. I'm guessing within the last few days because I haven't had the valve covers off in a few days. But you can see, like, this is old. This looks old. The only part that's like shiny and new is like right around the edge of this. And then maybe right around the edge of that.
I just don't get it. Like,
No, I mean,
it hasn't even been started or anything.
I've never seen this in my whole dang life.
It hasn't ran in a year. So why would it break a head stud?
I don't know. Well, I mean, the only thing I could think of, okay, so like I've seen motors break valve springs just sitting there. You know, like they'll just be sitting there on the side of the shop and they'll just, bing, break a valve spring, and it's because, you know, they have a lot of spring pressure and they're compressed, sitting there forever, compressed, and it's just eventually the heat cycles of heating up and cooling down every morning and every night gets to them and they stress and break. But the only thing that can cause one of these to break, just sitting here, is if the head is moving. You know what I mean? Like if the head. Like
But
if
it's
the head
not.
moved, like the head would have to move. The head would have to expand more than what this stud could take, and it would break it. Or I don't fucking know. Or it's been broke, and somehow, because that is the only thing that's happened for this thing in the last couple of days was I turned the motor over. You're right. That is the only thing that's happened. So, is it possible that me turning the motor over pressurized the hole somehow for it to pop out of there and land in the valve cover or get caught on the valve cover to where when you pull the valve cover off, the bolt falls out?
Yeah, because if it was just laying in there the whole time, it would still just be laying in there because we've had those
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. Well, the thing that kills me is that I know me. And I know if I didn't know me, I would have said, whoever worked on this last broke this and then shoved it back in there for someone else to deal with. But I know me, and I know that I didn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Dude, that's old. Look at that. That looks old. Like
yeah, it's like rusty in spots.
the only part that looks shiny is like right around the edge of this.
But in the
maybe
dark
a
metal,
little
it's
here.
rusty, like right there.
Yeah, down here. Yeah, that's like already rusting. And it's got shit built up in it. Look at that. Like shit that's been there a while.
Like it was cracked or something, and then it went all the way. I don't.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of, it was cracked all the way to like this edge right here. But dude, somebody had to have known that.
But what does that mean?
Whoever torqued this down had to have felt it or heard it or something, and it was just like hanging on by a thread. Yeah, look, if you look at that side, that looks fresh, you know, right there, and right there looks fresh. But then that's old, that's old, that's old. But you can see it right there, shiny. That's like the only thing that was holding it together, I guess. But I still don't know what caused it. If me turning the motor over pressurized this hole and sent it up, then the head bolt hole or the head stud hole has to be somehow attached to the cylinder, which means it's hurt. Like fire slotted to the head bolt hole, the head gasket's blowed. I mean, that's the only way that turning it over. So let's say whoever worked on it last knew they did this, and they stuck it back in there and like silicone, like put some silicone in here and stuck it back in here. So it's like, it looks fine. So nobody found it.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know if they ran it and shit, you know? Like,
Who knows? That shit, that gunk in there might be silicone. I don't know what the hell that is. Or
But-
maybe they put, I don't fucking know. Honestly, I don't know. But what I do know,
freaking screwed though. That whatever was down here messed up the block or the head.
well, hell, even if it's not messed up right now, there's a good chance I could mess it up pulling it out. There's something in that hole.
I'm gonna fucking die if it does it again on another one.
Jesus, dude, what the fuck?
So, here you go.
We're back
Yeah.
after my mental breakdown.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's hard for me to try to explain this to anybody because I don't really know what happened. So, apparently, this is what we got so far. We went to remove the valve cover. She went to remove the valve cover, so I'm blaming it on her. She went to remove the valve cover, and this fell out of the valve cover, landed on the floor. This is a head stud. Very, very valuable component. And it's broken here. See, sort of, kind of? Whatever. It's broken. Bottom line is, the head, there, look at that, that's perfect. We're blurry, it's not. The head stud broke. Look at that. That's the head stud out of her motor. It broke.
Without firing.
It broke without ever running. This thing hasn't ran since the guy that we bought it from ran it a year ago or so. But what's weird is it's not a clean brake. It's not new. It looks old. There's like a piece of it that maybe looks new. So basically, here's the only way I know how to deal with things. I look at this and I say, okay, if someone gave me $1 million to break this head stud while it's still in the head, how would I do it? And the only things I could come up with would be to do something to lift the head up until this thing popped out, or use like water pressure, hydraulic pressure, something to break this, you know. And but the fact that it's old and it's very, very old looking, I would say this has been broke a long time. Maybe only holding on by a sliver, you know. So I'm guessing, we're guessing, that this has been in trouble for a while, holding on by a sliver, and then somehow, at some point, over the last few days, it gave up its hold, and it shot out of the hole, hit the bottom of the valve cover, scraped it, and then fell, somehow landing somehow in the valve cover head area, to where when she lifted the valve cover up, it falls out, hits the ground. But that does not tell us why. It really doesn't even tell us how it broke. I do know that I just got a little Pontiac motor, but with only 10 head studs. This thing's got 17 per head.
It should be fine then.
I mean, I've never broken a head stud with only 10 head studs and 70 pounds of boost, 60 pounds of boost, you know. We're talking 3,000 horsepower. Never broke a head stud. I never even torched a head gasket. So, but what I do know is it's very small. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but that's a small head stud right there. So,
It's a 383.
yeah, it's just a little 383. What are you gonna do? So, basically that brings us to what's next. Okay, well, it's about 11 o'clock. I texted Chicken. I shouldn't have texted Chicken Bone because it's 11 o'clock. But I didn't look at my phone to be like, hey, it's 11 o'clock. I'm great. All I did was grab my phone and text him because Jackie's freaking out, and so am I. So I text Chicken Bone. I said, hey, have you ever heard of this happening or seen this happen or anything? And of course, then I realized it's 11 o'clock. So yeah, I'm sure he's asleep. So first thing in the morning, I'm going to, because this is one of those things, I could start tearing it apart right now, and we could have it tore apart by daylight, and, you know, probably have it going back together. But what's the point when we could go, it's trading hours, you know what I mean? We could go home, get some sleep, get back up here in the morning. I'm sure Chicken will text me when he wakes up, and then he'll tell me kind of what since he's the one who built this motor, and he's the one who builds and puts together some of the baddest small block nitrous deals in the world. So he can tell me what he thinks, and then he can also tell me how we should go forward with this.
And if this is like a thing.
Yeah, if this, maybe he might say, oh yeah, they do that if you let them sit for a year, you know, because I know that on some, you know, comp eliminator type cars or pro stock type cars, if you let them sit with the valves open in one place for very long, they'll break valve springs just sitting there. But I'm guessing though that this isn't a thing. You know, I've never heard of this before. I've never seen this before. So I'm guessing that he's going to say, wow, that's crazy. But I do need to get the head off, and I need to get working on extracting what's left of this out of the block, because it's an aluminum 383 block.
Testing.
I don't know if you guys know, but aluminum and steel.
Yeah. That's the problem is depending on where it broke, if it broke in the block or in the head or in between the two, or we don't know the situation down there.
We don't, but we need to know. But
Yeah.
if we were at a race, look, I'll tell you what we would do if we were at a race. If we were at a race or if we were at an event, I would, well, first we'd do a risk assessment on how long it's going to take us to fix it and if we can make the next round or whatever it is. And as long as we thought we had a chance at making the next round and win the race, then what we would do is I would slide a piece of like 3/8 copper down the hole, butt it up against what's left of this thing in there, and I'd take a MIG welder and I'd pull the trigger and I'd send the wire feed all the way down through till it hit the bottom of what's left of this, and I'd just keep pulling the trigger and raising it up till it come up at the top of the head. Then I'd weld a wrench to it or something, and I'd spin it off, and hopefully it comes out and doesn't tear anything up. And then we'd put it. Actually, if we were at a race, we'd probably just run it. To be honest, we'd probably
Maybe compression test.
we'd probably silicone this back in the hole like they did, and we'd probably run it.
To
But
be really honest, it would really depend on the pot of said race.
yeah, it would
you know?
depend. If we were in the money and we had a chance and it was a big pot to win, yeah, we'd probably just run it.
But if it's a little testing tune or first round, I don't know.
If we do, we'd have to do a risk assessment for sure. But
Maybe do a
and
compression
if
test.
the MIG welding thing didn't work, because usually the reason I would do that is because the copper tube would protect the threads and protect the head, you know. So and then the MIG wire would go down the copper tube, and then it would build up until you can spin it out. But that's if we were like, we didn't care, we needed to win a race. But in this situation, honestly, it's going to be best to pull the head and extract the bolt from the block, or extract the rest of this from the block. And these aren't, you know, these aren't punk studs here. So that's a hard material. So it's going to be tough to drill it and extract it. So I'm hoping and praying that there is something down there to get a hold of. But judging that I can't see any threads on this, I'm not hopeful. I mean, I think that I'm betting that it's below the deck surface at least 30, 40 thousandths before we get to it. And in which case, it's going to be tough to get a TIG welder in there and buzz that up to where we can get something on it. So we may have to try and build a jig on the head and then drill and then extract. And then
Or
hopefully
if
we
this
don't.
is a deal, maybe Chicken knows how to get it out.
Yeah.
This is a common thing.
Yeah, who knows?
But I'm depressed, so. We were
Yeah.
supposed to start it this week, and now it's 28 steps back. you
Yeah,
know?
we were filming basically the last video before the startup video. We were doing plug wires and valve cover gaskets and little stuff, you know, and as soon as the plumbing gets here tomorrow or whatever, we were going to hook up the hoses under the hood, and, you know, this deal was going to be ready to fire. Next video, Tuesday, would have been first startup of Caddy Jack. Now, it's going to be tight to get it by Tuesday.
Engine disassembly.
But, you know, like I always say, this is race cars. This is racing, you know. It sucks. I hate to say that when she's sitting right here because it's her race car. It's her race engine, you know, and like nobody wants to go through this, especially when you pay that much money for something. But, you know, with me, it's just like, let's fix it, you know. Let's get the head off. Let's figure it out. Let's get it fixed. But I don't want to
But
rip it
still,
apart until I talk to Chicken, because Chicken could say, okay, well, look at this, 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 and this, or check the torque on the rest of the studs. See if maybe somebody didn't over torque it and break it or something. If that's the case, then if it's all tore apart, we can't check anything. You know what I mean? So I just want to, and I want to find out what the part number is of these, what these are supposed to look like from the factory to see how much length I have in there. You know, there's a lot of stuff that you need to do before you just go ripping something apart and trying to fix it. Because you may rip something apart, put it back together thinking it's fixed, and not even realize what caused it or why it's broke. And then it's not fixed and it does it again in a month or a year or whatever. So
And that's the problem is we looked up the head, and the head has a couple different options of studs.
does.
So we don't know which one that is or
yeah,
why.
there's something weird there too. Might be something there too, because there is a couple of weird head stud options for this head, and they're like different sizes. So I don't know, but we're going to continue. Basically, we're going to figure this out. I'm going to start ripping apart in the morning. We may get 2 videos, 3 videos. You know, we may be putting out videos every day till I fix this. And it may just be her working on it or me working on it while we're doing other stuff or whatever. But we will keep you up to date on what we find and why, because it may be another 10 years before this ever happens to somebody, but someone is going to go to take a valve cover off their race car before the season starts, and there's going to be a head stud laying in it. And they're going to search it and Google it. Because the first thing I do, check Google. Nothing happens there. I go to Yellow Bullet, believe it or not. Even though it's old and outdated and hardly anybody's on there anymore, I go to Yellow Bullet and I search it in Yellow Bullet, and usually you can find somebody that's had this issue before. But you never really find out why or what fixed it. You just get 3 pages of guys talking shit on why it happened to them. So we're going to figure it out. We're going to get it fixed. She's depressed.
Yeah.
I am also depressed, but I'm also in fix-it mode. I'm in gather information and fix it. So we'll get it fixed. I'll be on it first thing in the morning. For now, we're going to go try and get some sleep so that I can get on Chicken Bone schedule tomorrow. Anything else? I don't know why you had to break your motor.
Freaking nitrous motors are all gonna say, you know.
Oh yeah, it's a nitrous motor. That's why I did it. Yeah, because it's a nitrous motor. Makes sense.
Even though there
Okay.
should be no nitrous right there, but whatever.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It doesn't look burnt or anything. So it's not like the head is fire slotted or the block and it like torched the stud or anything. It's just broke. But it looks like it was broke 2 years ago. Anyway. Man, that thing's harder than a mastodon's toenails. Look at that. I didn't even make a dent. Okay. We're out of here. Anything else? Way to go. Well, bye. You should say it this time. Come on, say it.
Bye.